It's your boy Rich over here, man. Up in the room with your boy FreshSqueezed. As my man already know, whenever you're over here, whenever you're around me, the main thing we talk about is getting into that bag. Let's get to
Keep
it.
it on me. I can't let her crib unless that chopper on me. She said on the shit, she gon' put it on me. You can keep this out, I'ma smoke this OG. Remember way back then?
FreshSqueezed family, we back at you with another video. This time, it's not really an interview, it's more of an informational video. With finances and stocks becoming more important every single day, I thought it'd be a good idea to do a video explaining how the process works from someone who's pretty knowledgeable, close to my age group, that's seeing profits from stocks, multiple properties. My homie Rich, what's good, bro?
What's up, Mike?
Chilling, man. With the way the world is today, I just thought it would be a good idea to do a video as far as stocks and finances, because a lot of people are struggling with that right now. So becoming financially literal is such a big deal right now. So we finna put people on game. You know what I'm saying? I know you personally, so I know what you got going on. We just gonna start it off with, how'd you even get into stocks and properties?
I gotta say, it started around like 2014, 2013, when I made my first investments in stocks. Saving some money, my freshman, sophomore year of college. I knew about stocks when I was younger. I want to say in middle school, Kenny King, my math teacher, he actually had us do an exercise where we bought some stocks. It was actually like in 2009 when the recession hit. So that kind of like got me eye open as far as stocks and just the idea as a whole, and kind of throughout that time frame. Came across a few movies, came across some information here and there, and it got to the point where like, I kind of just did my own research. I kind of just always gravitated towards how the market works and just the economy as a whole.
Yeah.
So once I saved up a decent amount of money, I just dug right into it. Fortunately, at this time, I didn't know much. I kind of taught myself everything. And what a lot of young investors do is try to get the quick money, which is penny stocks. I tried that out, had very little success at penny stocks, to the point I actually stopped. But I got back into stocks, I want to say 2 years later. I had a conversation with one of my homies that was doing pretty good. I was like, you know what, let me just get back into it. So got back on my studies, did some research on Google, things of that nature, and I've been messing with it ever since.
So first off, I want to ask, what is the main difference between a penny stock and an actual stock?
A penny stock, it's different listings that several stocks hit. I don't remember offhand. I think it's called a pink sheet, what penny stocks hit. It's more so stocks that's like under $5 or $10. Now the thing with these stocks is high risk. It's kind of honestly relatable to cryptocurrency right now. There's a lot of volatile in the market as far as penny stocks, and you know it's easy to get a 10% gain in a day, or like even a 50% gain in a day. I ain't gonna say it's easy, but it's like hitting a lottery. You know what I'm saying? When it happens, you gotta hit big. Yeah. So a lot of people take that risk, but it's as easy as you can gain. This is easy you can lose. So that's one reason why I stay away from penny stocks at this point, because it's too risky for me. But there is, if you watch Wolf of Wall Street, he kind of explains it when he first started as far as why he was messing with penny stocks. But for me, big index funds is my go-to.
I know me personally, the biggest thing, well, one of the biggest difficulties I have with stocks is knowing what is a good stock, when to buy it, when to sell it. I'm kind of confused on the whole thing. I know you're supposed to sell when it's high, buy when it's low, but how do you know what's finna be low and what's finna be high?
So this goes back to, I would say, doing your research as far as how to read a graph. So one thing that I was doing, I went to investopedia.com. It's a logical site. It's geared towards investing in stocks. So it's a lot of new terminology that you may not be familiar with. Things that I came across that taught me how to read a chart and also what to look for. One in particular is MACD. I'm gonna leave that up to you guys to research. A bar chart, that's also pretty knowledgeable. You probably came across it throughout school, but understanding the market, it goes a long way. There's one that I cannot pronounce called Kangler Ascalsely or some shit like that. Long story short, when you dig into them, you start to see a pattern. And on top of that, you learn how to read like indicators. And when I say indicators, you got low indicators, you got high indicators, or resistance points, better, has a better term to use. So when the stock hit this number, it normally sells or normally bounce back up. And if you study a chart, you can kind of see that pattern after a while. So that's one of that helps as far as when to buy low and when to buy high, which is what we talked about during the summer as far as Foot Locker stock.
Yeah. What would you say your overall experience has been? Like, obviously, I would assume that you've had positive experiences with stocks, but I feel like a lot of people have this misconception that you come into a decent amount of money, you immediately invest in stocks, and now you rich. Can you kind of like break down how, one, that's false, and two, just like, not, you ain't got to talk about your exact L's that you took or whatever, but just kind of your experiences with losing and gaining.
That's a good question. Actually, pause. Yeah, so that's a good question. So I would say, in short, it don't happen overnight. And it honestly depends on how much you put into it. I tell people this all the time when they first start. It's not about, you got to think long term when it comes to stocks. Unless you're coming in with like 5 figures to invest, then that's a different ball game. But you come in with just, a couple hundred or less, then I say take your time with it, lower your risk, learn the market. So what I tell people to do is just buy one stock a week, whatever that stock is, nothing that's over $50. Just try to do that throughout the year. And while you're doing that, aim to get 1% per week. That's what I'll try to do. So most people that come in, like you said, expecting to get rich quick, that's not how it happens. Because if that was the case, everybody be doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's sad stories and it's winners. But in short, it comes from knowledge. I mean, I will be honest, it is kind of a gamble with stocks because nobody knows. Nobody has a crystal ball to tell you when to sell, when to buy. You know what I'm saying? And it's also a lot of psychology that goes into it because when you put your money into it, you watching your money move up and down. You know what I'm saying? You got to ask yourself, how much of a risk tolerance can you take? Can you wake up the next trading day and see your stocks down like $5 grand, 10 grand? You know what I'm saying? And how would you feel about that? When you see it down just, $50 or whatever that may be, how you feel. Yeah. When you see it up, just the same amount, how would you feel? Because it's all about the risk tolerance also. So with me, I started out with 4 figures, to be honest, when I first got into it. It wasn't much at that time. And like I said, with penny stocks, I lost like probably half of it, I would say. When I went back into it, I went in with the same 4. I got a decent amount in it right now, more than that. But I know my risk tolerance. I won't put in more than I'm comfortable losing. So number one is do your research or your education. You know what I'm saying? You got to be knowledgeable of what you're investing in as far as knowing what stock is a viable stock. It varies. As far as to me, I will look at its projection. You know what I'm saying? What is this company bringing to the market? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What's the need for this stock? You know what I'm saying? Is it the future? Like one thing I'm looking at right now is electric vehicles. Tesla, of course, been like it's the king out there. Everybody knows that. It went up 700% last year, which is an insane number. But Tesla's been around for like the past 15, 20 years, I want to say. I'm just going off the top of my head. I may be wrong. Yeah. But it's a lot of companies out there now that's doing pretty well if you would have got in last year. One that I'm mad I missed out on is NIO, N-I-O. It's a Chinese company. They make electric vehicles. I want to say right when right when COVID hit last year, the market took a big dip. This stock in particular was about around $2, $1.98, something around that nature. And if you guys remember, I don't really mess with penny stocks. So I was doing a little bit of day trade anyway because I believed in the company, but I didn't mess with it for too long. So I looked at it recently and it shit worth $50 now. So you can do the math, you know what I'm saying? She was $2 6 months ago. It's $50 now. Say you put 20K into it, that's what, 10,000 shares. So now it's worth value of $50. So 50 times 10,000, what is that, 500,000 I want to say. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Things like that I missed out on. But
that was a 6 month wait though, right?
Exactly. Which is, you know what I'm saying, who's going to turn that down? But again, you don't got the crystal ball, so you don't know. You know what I'm saying? I could have lost that little 10 grand, also, but or I could have had $500,000, So that's one thing I've been kicking myself over as far as what I missed. Yeah.
Another thing that you big into is properties. I want to congratulate you. You told me that you sold a couple of properties within the past week. Just like diving into that a little bit, because I'm not the most familiar person with properties. I'm sure my viewers might have some questions too. For one, what do you look for when you buying a property?
With property, I like to stay in my lane approach when I first started. So I already had my primary residence that I was living in. The mortgage was X amount, so it goes back to the risk factor. You know what I'm saying? How much of another mortgage I want to take in. I grew up in Gary. To me, Gary and neighborhoods that's similar to Gary, you can buy houses at a low rate. One issue, or one obstacle that I had to come across is certain properties were like less than 100K. So something that I learned is when you're trying to buy houses for, I ain't gonna say when you come across, but most banks don't offer loans or mortgages to houses that cost less than 100K. So it took me a while to find somebody who can actually finance me for these properties, because either I have to pay out of pocket for these properties that was less than 100, or go to a private institution, things of that nature. Luckily, I found the bank, Santerre Bank, actually. If that's saying it's a local bank. So if you guys are in a similar situation, I would say go to your local bank as far as properties on the low end. They helped me out a lot as far as getting me in the right direction. But as far as what I was looking for, going back to the risk tolerance, I knew, like, for example, actually, if I get real life example, my first rental property that I bought was like around like 28, you know what I'm saying, which is cheap. So the mortgage when I was like $200 or $300, whatever. So I got that. I want to say a year or two later, I got like 2 more properties. With the first one, you know, I wasn't trying to get rich. I'm just now getting into it. I put into it. But yeah, even at closing, I probably came out of pocket fucking, I don't know, not even much. Actually, I got some money back at closing. So I didn't come out of nothing at closing. I put a little bit of money into the house, I believe, and then I got to rent it out. Shit, probably like in a month or 2.
Yeah.
So I'm already, you know what I'm saying, into my profit. Now, the thing with renting that most people don't really realize too is that it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's also that takes time.
Yeah. And
just to break down the numbers, so I got a house that's like valued like $300, whatever, as far as the mortgage that's coming in. Then at that house, I was just renting out for like $600. I could have did $700, could have did $750 or more. I was renting below the market value because I wasn't tripping, you know what I'm saying? And I rented out to somebody I knew, so, you know, showing love. But just to break out the number game, 300 is profit, right?
Yeah.
So in a year, that's what, $3,600 profit. But that's if all the payments is in time, and that's if nothing go wrong with the property. So you got to keep in mind, you know, you may need a new roof, you may need a new furnace, you may need a new fridge, or whatever the case may be. You know, it's a couple hundred here, that may be a couple thousand here.
Yeah.
So you got to have money on the back end to take care of that shit also. You know what I'm saying? But as far as how the money works with real estate, you got to have multiple properties, honestly.
Yeah.
When I first started, my goal was like I had 10 properties to rent out. You know what I'm saying, in Gary. And the main reason why I say Gary again, because I can maintain my personal, you know what I'm saying, assets or my personal residence and my investment properties also, because it was so low.
Yeah.
Now, say if I went out to, you know, Munster, Indiana, some shit like that, with a mortgage for a house is like $1,200, you know what I'm saying? And that's a different story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You lay on $1,200, then on top of that, I'm probably charging $1,500 a month for rent. So I'm only eating $300, but I don't got this big ass risk.
Yeah.
So it goes back to just sitting down and thinking, what's the best for you? You know what I'm saying? So with me, you know, I like to start out small, so I figure it out, and then, you know, I take it to the next level.
When you say banks don't usually give loans for anything under 100K, is that because of like the surrounding area that the house is in, or they just like don't see the worth in it?
It's 2 things. One, from the bank perspective, is what they would tell you is probably the risk. So 1 is probably risk tolerance, and 2 is probably like it's not worth the investment for them, but it's more so they skeptical of people going to foreclosure, lower income areas or areas of property, whatever they want to call it. But in actuality, to me, I think it's a way to keep certain people, more so people of color, people in these areas, from becoming homeowners, in my personal take on it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, how is, you know what I'm saying, if you're making X amount per year, you know what I'm saying, you can only afford X amount, you know what I'm saying? So if you don't afford what's in your neighborhood, but you can't find a bank to finance you, then, you know, what you gonna do? But, you know what I'm saying, there's no option but to rent. So to me, that's just a loophole, I would say. I ain't gonna say a loophole. That's really just what the blackball people of color, my honest take on it, though, which is bullshit. But
Yeah.
going to your local banks can't bypass that. You just gotta do a little bit of research. You gotta speak to some bankers to find out which bank can help you out in that aspect.
So as far as Okay, I'm understanding what you're saying as far as like the under 10, you might have to pay cash. You gotta make sure what you're putting into it, but it's a lower risk factor. What do you look at in the actual property? Because we don't have to say where your properties were. You told me those aren't like the greatest neighborhoods. Yeah. So what draws you to be like, oh yeah, this the one that I'm gonna fix up and move somebody into?
Say, well, you know, I got a construction background, so one, I kind of like know how much it takes to bring something up to value. And again, me being from Gary, I know how much certain things cost, you know what I'm saying? So I can negotiate a good deal to get it below market value and know how much it would take to bring it up. So I look at it from that aspect. And also it's like, do I want to get this credits moving and ready? So it's like, you know, you got a new roof on the house, like this property I got from the tax sale last year. New roof, solid foundation. The garage was messed up, but that's whatever. You know what I'm saying? But the thing with the tax sale is you can't see inside the property. You can only see the outside of it. So that's where a lot of judgment gotta come into. You gotta watch for trees over the house. You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. How is the siding? How is the softening facade, the fascia on the house? Yeah. Things like that. If the outside is good, then it's a good bet the inside is good. A tax sale. I'm kind of branching off here, but a tax sale is a good revenue too to get into real estate. The reason I say that because you're buying it at a discount, basically. So what a tax sale is, for those of you who don't know, Lake County, they have a tax sale, and people who don't pay they state taxes, and their house is going to foreclosure, get taken over by the state. The state put it up for auction. And it's basically the starting auction price is whatever you owe in taxes. In most cases, it could be a little as $1,000, honestly. But you got a lot of people that's bidding, you know what I'm saying, against you, so it's going to drive the auction price up. Right. So the last one I got off the tax sale was I got for like 10K, which is, you know, a whole house. You know, so I just got the paperwork for it a few weeks ago or last week or some shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? So things like that you can't beat, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it may take some time to save up, but you got a house that's paid off, you know what I'm saying? It's major, you know what I'm saying? All you got to pay is the taxes. In certain areas, especially Indiana, they got low taxes. So my tax on that house is what, like, I think it's like 800, whatever, so that's 400, you know what I'm saying? Every 6 months, which is, you know, nothing, you know what I'm saying? And then you rent it out, that's all profit, you know what I'm saying? So that's really the way that I'm looking to go now, get a house that's paid off, no mortgages, and really just flipping when it comes to real estate. And on top of that, it's a lot of freaking tax breaks you get. I'm kind of been off again, but one thing I did want to bring up is there's a book right here. It's called Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'm sure most of you heard of this book. If you haven't got it, get it. It's a lot of gems in this book. It's actually opened up my eyes to a few games, especially when it comes to like tax breaks. I don't want to say tax loopholes because it's all legit, but tax breaks. Right. And being in real estate, it definitely helped me out as far as lowering taxes that I would have owned if I didn't own property. So that goes a long way. It's a lot of other things I can speak on, but do your research. I'm not a professional. I'm just speaking off my knowledge. Right. I don't want to mislead you guys, but it's real beneficial to get into real estate shit.
So I could be wrong. But in order to sell real estate, do you need a license? Like, as far as like the real estate school and all that, is that to work for like a firm, or like, do you need a license to buy a crib and then fix it up and then sell it?
No, you don't. I don't have any license whatsoever as far as real estate. It is benefits. I think one of the main benefits is you get access to the MLS, if I'm not mistaken, which is the listing of all the houses that's for sale. You kind of get to see them before they hit the market. On top of that, you get to see like the seller comps and buyer comps, which is like what's a house bought or sold for in that given area in X amount of time frame. Yeah. But the way things set up now, you can really go to I think it's called Zillow, which is what I use. Yeah. If you know how to filter it out, you can see the same stuff. It may not be as accurate as this MLS listing, but you can see the same stuff. Yeah. And I actually got a few of my products off of Zillow.
I was always curious about that because I always see, like, you know, you need real estate license, this and that, then you would be able to sell 100K in a year. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was kind of curious as to, do you actually need that schooling, or can you just buy and sell, like simple as that?
No, you can buy and sell. And something that a lot of people are doing right now is wholesaling. I haven't done that myself before, but what wholesaling is when you actually put the buyer and the seller together, and if the sale goes through, then you get a commission based off of that. So all it is you just write in a contract. You know, I got this house, somebody's trying to sell. The seller, you put them on a contract, let me sell your house for X amount in a 3-month time period. If you sell the house, whatever your terms is, they gotta agree by that. So that's something that a lot of people do, but it really just takes a little bit of reading. That's all it takes though. You don't need your license, you don't need your guy go to school for none of that shit.
Yeah.
But it is beneficial to be knowledgeable of the market though. I will say that.
In the past week and a half, we've been seeing Bitcoin going crazy.
Yeah,
I know that's a little different from stocks. It's cryptocurrency.
yeah.
I'm not familiar with it at all.
Mm-hmm.
I know you said you know a little bit about it.
Yeah.
What can you speak on as far as how Bitcoin works and why is it going so crazy?
Bouncing off 40K right now. So cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, I wish I knew about this when I was a kid down there. But in essence, what it is, it's cryptocurrency. It's kind of hard to explain what it is, though. Honestly, in essence, it's like it's not governed by one person. You know what I'm saying? It's a currency that's ran by a group of people, which is called miners. So these miners, they operate this cryptocurrency. And what miners do, they make the transaction. So opposed to banks make a transaction, you got everyday people that make these transactions with these big ass computers and all this fancy technology and shit. And they get a percentage off each transaction they make. There's some kind of digital code they gotta put in. Anybody that bought crypto outside of Robinhood, like actual crypto that you can use to buy shit, it's some kind of code you gotta use for every transaction. So they don't want to decipher that code and get your money from point A to point B. Now, the little I do know about it, it's X amount of Bitcoins out there. I forgot the exact number, but once all the coins is out there, it's like supply and demand, you know what I'm saying? It's like the more people that hold, the higher the price is going to go. You know what I'm saying? The more people that sell, the quicker it's going to drop. So once all of them is out there, that's it. So it's like a high commodity, so to speak.
Yeah.
But the thing with Bitcoin is you can break it down to like, I think they call it Satoshis or some shit, something like that is what they call it.
Yeah.
Which is like, you break it down to decimal points. So you can buy like a 0.0005 for Bitcoin, whatever. So it's like an infinite amount of numbers you can put out there by one, but in essence, it's still like one whole Bitcoin. And I believe the value of cryptocurrency as a whole just passed $1 trillion this week, I want to say, which means it's a shit ton of growth, because all the Tesla stock right now is like, I forgot the exact number, but it's around something trillion if you put all the fucking numbers to it though. So I'm gonna put it like this: the stock market value, like NYSC, it's like right here, you know what I'm saying? And cryptocurrency is like down here. So that tells you how much money more can go into crypto. It's a chance that shit might hit fucking shit 100K before we know it. My guess is probably hit 60K before it drop. But we might see 100K sooner than we think though. Which is crazy.
But I know you were speaking on it's also a risk too. You said it's a pretty big risk.
Yeah.
So like how does that work? Like you pay real money to buy Bitcoins, right? And if the value of the Bitcoins go down, then you just lost all your bread?
Yeah, so similar to the stock market, you know, it goes up and down. It's a volatile market, but crypto is like the stock market on steroids. You know what I'm saying? I mean, as quickly as that shit skyrocket, you know, as quick as it can fall. So I want to say in the past 7 days, Bitcoin went up like 50% or 100%, something like that, which is insane. So if you catch the wave, you know, cool. You know what I'm saying? Just be cautious, because if it drops, and if it's like a panic sale, what I call it, like everybody just panicking to sell at the same time, that shit's gonna be fucking free fall. Yeah. And it's gonna be tricky because you gotta sell it at a price somebody wanna buy it at. But if it's dropping so fast, by the time you put your selling price in, it's gonna pass it already. So your price is gonna be locked in and you're just losing fucking money because you can't sell your Bitcoin. And that shit happens so quick, it's like, it's risky. So that's one reason why I'm kinda, I guess, playing by the sideline right now with Bitcoin, because I experienced that firsthand back in like 2017 or 16 when it first went to like 20K.
Yeah.
And I caught it right before the wave, but I also caught it on the low end too. So ever since then, I was like kind of sketchy, touching Bitcoin again. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you built for it, more power to you. But shit, I'm gonna wait for now.
Speaking on COVID, man, this shit's crazy. We've been in this shit for damn near a year now.
Yeah.
I don't personally really see it going anywhere. It's gonna end up being like the flu, basically. How do you think that will affect the economy in the long run?
So, just going back on what you said, it happened probably like close to a year ago, March of last year. It's about 10 months, whatever that math is. It depends where you look. I mean, looking at the stock market, shit, I don't think anybody predicted it would be where it's at right now. You know what I'm saying? Like in March, everything took a dip. More so, cruise lines, the Carnival, and all them Royal Caribbean, and all them transportation and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But Airbnb just went public. It just issued IPO, which means when it first hit the stock market, and that shit went up. I think it was listed to be like around 50, and the shit shot up to fucking $100. You know what I'm saying? Mm. So if you look at the stock market, it don't reflect the reality. But I will say things are moving a lot quicker than people imagine it would be. I will say that. I will say that I wish the government did more as far as helping certain communities out.
Yeah.
I feel like the unemployment extension was cool, you know what I'm saying? But as far as I don't know the current status right now, if it's still going or if it's not. I think they stopped it in December, I want to say, right at New Year's. Mm-hmm. So going forward, I don't know what they got in. I know it's Democrats in the House now, so I imagine they're going to flood the gates with money, is my opinion.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough, man. I will say things are moving quicker, better than what people imagine. I will say that. I do believe people are becoming more lax to COVID to a degree, depending on where you are.
Yeah.
In the country, I know the West Coast is getting hit, or Cali in particular is getting hit real hard right now, but you got places like Florida that's been wide open down there. And you're not hearing shit about it, you know what I'm saying? Even in Indiana to a degree, I mean, it is real, don't get me wrong. I do believe a lot of people have died from it, I do believe in it.
Yeah.
But I also want to say that people is becoming more lax, and it's not more lax, but more comfortable in this environment, which helps, you know what I'm saying? Which means that things may start moving as far as production getting back in order and people getting back to work.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of changes that come with this also, I would say. There's going to be a lot of people, which go back to real estate, moving away from downtown, I believe, because a lot of people is going to be working from home now moving forward. Mm-hmm. And honestly, a lot of people don't want to live in downtowns no more because, one, just the experience with 2020, that this downtown is being so chaotic, and on top of that, if this was to happen again, some kind of outbreak, you're surrounded by people, so it's so hard to get away. If you live in a condo or a high rise, it's hard to be spacious.
Yeah.
So I see certain property values lowering, and I see like newer or younger generations moving into the city. And as far as these big office spaces they got downtown, there's gonna be some changes to that shit too, man. You have to use some mixed use space. I got an idea of what's happening, but only time can really tell to see what plays out.
Yeah, shit is crazy, bro. It's definitely real. I'll be the first one to say that. I don't know. It's damn near seemed like it's the new norm for real, and it's kind of just you got to find the way to get to your bag and find a way to hustle within it. So that's why I think real estate and stocks are going to become more important than ever now. You know what I'm saying? Because working from the crib, you limit it. Yeah, you limit it to your bread for sure. We got to speak on this crazy ass shit though. What the hell going on at the Capitol building, man? We got to speak on it, dog.
I mean, shit. I kind of got to filter what I really want to say, to be honest with you, though. But nah, man. So one, I feel Trump ass. I think he need to be checked into a mental institute. To be honest with you. I think he lost his damn mind. Just to be frankly honest with you. I mean, I don't know if he realized what he did.
Yeah.
Everybody else seen it. I don't know if he realized it or not. I think he kind of realizing it now because I heard that he is speaking on giving himself a pardon, and he passed it over to Pence, which is, I know he only got like 10 days in the office left, but shit, his ass, whatever.
Yeah.
But as far as people acting the way they did, I mean,
Did it surprise you?
Shit. I would say it did, man. I didn't expect people to go inside. One, I'm surprised people actually made it inside the fucking U.S. Capitol. Not only that, but they actually trashed the place, you know what I'm saying? They fucked it up, you know what I'm saying? Like, where was the president instead of police? Like, I know it's COVID times, the building was empty, whatever, but you counted fucking ballots, you know what I'm saying? This is a high risk time. They knew that fucking protest was happening.
Yeah.
So in my mind, somebody dropped the ball, to be honest with you, though. And it's pictures of police, you know what I'm saying, with the protesters shit, kind of, it's shit out there, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to make this conspiracy talk. In that sense, you know what I'm saying, you got people with that mentality of, I don't want to call it, I'm just going to say stupidity, entitlement, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that really, I ain't going to say entitlement, but it's misinformation, you know what I'm saying? They really believe this Trump train that everything is a hoax and everything is false, you know what I'm saying? Like, they want the trial to prove, I ain't going to say to prove, but they want the trial because they thought the shit was fake as far as the votes for Joe, whatever, right? To get it overturned. They asked him, yo, give me your facts, you know what I'm saying? The Trump administration could have given the facts. So it's like, what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? This man's still saying it's a hoax and shit. And you got people that are so caught up in this shit, they don't know. That's another conversation, really, though, as far as the age and the generation, where people get their information from. I think that's also a big part of why Trump got this big gathering, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's more to it, but that's one part also. Yeah. But that's another topic as far as misinformation.
Shit was crazy, I know that. We live in history, dog, for sure.
Definitely, shit.
So wrapping this up, what would be like just some key things you would tell beginners that's getting into the financial world, whether it's stocks, like Bitcoin, properties, whatever the case may be? Just what are like some of your tips that you learned throughout the way that you think can help somebody else?
I'd say the first thing is do your research, read as much as you can. We got the internet, people, you know, there's tons of information out there, you know what I'm saying? I say be careful who you get your information from. There's a lot of people out there that's trying to sell you shit more so than actually teach you shit, so be aware of that. I would say think about the bigger picture, you know what I'm saying? When you first started, you know what I'm saying, your funds may not be X amount, and it takes time. So I say to stay focused, work on your dedication, work on being patient, and just building that, you know what I'm saying, your bag up, you know what I'm saying, to the point you can really see a difference in your funds. If it helps, write it down on paper, you know what I'm saying, or the kind of numbers you expect to see, and just write over time what you expect to hit, and kind of help you, you know what I'm saying, go on from that time. That's one thing I always say to keep you motivated. Yeah. Definitely, you know what I'm saying, I would say try to do right, you know what I'm saying, have a good heart. I believe in karma. I believe when you do good, you put out good energy, that shit will come back to you. And that's one thing that I heard from a lot of people that's successful, you know what I'm saying, giving, you know what I'm saying. You ain't got to be given by money, but just give them from the heart, whatever that may be. Yeah. So keep that in mind too, and just shit, dedication, man. Honestly, you got to stick with it. You will take L. I took hella L's, you know what I'm saying. I took a lot of wins too, you know what I'm saying. But if I would have stopped at my first L, my fifth L, you know what I'm saying, things wouldn't, you know, I probably wouldn't been level up to the point I have right now. You know what I'm saying? I still got my goals. I'm still on my level up. Really, it's, you know, I'm cool, but nah, I still got a way to go. Yeah, definitely, bro. Well, FreshSqueezed family, we wanna say thank you, man, for real, because it's good to get a break just from, you know, talking to artists and people like that all the time, which they definitely have their value on the show, but especially in the African American community right now, I feel like everyone needs to learn as much about finances and just being educated in that area as much as you can. Yeah. So I know you said off camera, if anybody got questions, they could just hit your line or DM you or whatever. Yeah. Go ahead and let them know where they can find you at. It's Coops and no mileage. Cause I mean, if you got the edit shit, you know what I'm saying, add the little edit shit. You know what I'm saying? It's Coupes, COUPESN LOWMILEAGE. You know what I'm saying? Hit my DM. You know what I'm saying? Any questions you got? It's a lot of other subtopics and information I kind of left out looking back at it, but anything you feel I missed, feel free to reach out. Yes, sir. Definitely. FreshSqueezed family. I will have his information in the bio and everything, but I want to appreciate y'all for sticking around. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. We definitely dropped some knowledge on y'all today, and we'll see you next time. You will find another me if you lucky. Yeah. I gave you all of me. I got on my ass, I got me a bag, and look at you calling me. You said I ain't shit and I thought I was toxic. How you fall for me?